Greetings everyone. Today we shall be studying about emotional intelligence. So, before we get started, what about emotional intelligence? What is intelligence? Right, intelligence as in classic intelligence जो pre 1990s में देखा जाता था. Just to give you a brief history about it, until 1990s, emotions were thought to be disruptive. Emotions were thought to be what you can say anti-intelligence. That's a good way to put it. Emotions were thought to be anti-intelligence. They were thought that they cannot come in the way of making decisions. They cannot become in the way of making rational thinking, making decisions, which is not true. Fortunately, it was changed in 1990s. From the 1990s, the notion is that emotions and intelligence, or reason, to put it that way, emotions and reason move hand in hand, right? Now, we'll be studying about what is emotional intelligence. I'll give you examples. Examples से ज़्यादा अच्छा समझ में आता है. Then, why emotional intelligence is necessary. These are all universal points. I've written some of them. Then we'll study about one model. Then we'll study about an experiment. And one more important restless monkey thing. I will tell you about this. Okay, so what is intelligence or classical intelligence? Classical intelligence is basically those problem solving, your aptitude, problem solving skill, logical reasoning. जैसे कि आप एग्ज़ाम देने जाते हो, आप जाते हो कि कैट का एग्ज़ाम देने या फिर क्लैट का एग्ज़ाम देने और सीए का एग्ज़ाम देने, सीएस का एग्ज़ाम देने, जेई, नीट, यूपीएससी, किसी का भी एग्ज़ाम दोगे. तो ऑल्दो यूपीएससी हैज़ GS4, बट most majority of part of it is also GS only, the classical intelligence heavy. ठीक है, तो intelligence is basically testing IQ, that is intelligent quotient, that basically tests your logic, basically tests your logical reasoning, your problem solving ability, your ability to comprehend things, the cognitive behavioral part, right? But emotions, what are emotions? Emotions are feeling that you feel within yourself. That emotions are a stimulus to things. They are stimulus to things. They are a stimuli to things, right? Someone has given me a good news, I'll be overjoyed. I'll have joy, an emotion. Someone gives me a bad news, I'll be sad, an emotion. Someone slaps me, I'll have an emotion of anger. Someone says, hugs me, I'll have an emotion of happiness. Right, so what is emotions and are they necessary or not? So pre 1990s तो यही था कि emotions, भाई emotions are not at all good for you. They hamper your decision making ability, they hamper the reason, they hamper your rational mind. That was the perspective until 1990s. But post that, with changing times, we have come across to an understanding that emotions are not at all to be segregated from decision makings. Emotions are a part of decision making process. If you apply emotions in the decision making process, only then you can achieve proper decision. You can achieve a proper you can only then deduct to a proper decision or to make a better decision, right? So let's understand this by a Venn diagram. So this is intelligence, your classical intelligence, IQ जिसको कहते हैं. This is your emotion, E. ठीक है, तो I plus E, ये जो ओवरलैप है ना, this overlap between intelligence and emotions, that is what we call as EI, emotional intelligence. Now what emotional intelligence is? In a very basic layman, दो शब्द में बोलना चाहे, चार शब्द में, in a phrase if you end it, emotional intelligence is being intelligent about your emotions. Being intelligent about your emotions, right? Emotional intelligence is that ability, is the ability to understand, manage. It is the ability to understand and manage and organize your emotions, right? Emotional intelligence is the ability to understand, manage and comprehend your emotions as well as emotions of others. That is what emotional intelligence is. It does not end with you. Your emotional intelligence, it extends. It is not just you being intelligent about your emotions. It is also understanding others' emotion. It is the identification, understanding and management of emotions. But in a gist अगर बोले तो It is just the management of emotions. Now, why you need to manage your emotions, how you need to manage, why you need to manage, I will explain it to you through an example of restless monkey. But before that, I will give you certain examples. A very good example, that very recent example of KL Rahul. Mr. KL Rahul, I think it was IPL 2024 only or 23. He was scolded by the owner in front of the crowd in the stadium publicly. But Mr. Rahul did not panic or did not show his emotions. He managed them very well. That is a very good example of emotional intelligence, management of emotions. Emotional intelligence, anyways, does not mean that you are suppressing your emotions. It does not mean you suppress your emotion. It does not mean that you suppress your emotions. It means that you manage your emotions effectively. There's a concept given by Swami Vivekananda of restless monkey. Understand emotional intelligence by this. It is a very good explanation to emotional intelligence that I came across. So there is a monkey. Monkeys are restless by their own nature. By the nature of being monkey, they are restless. जाते हो ना आप लोग कहीं घूमने जाते हैं तो कैसे करते हैं भाई? केला छीन लिया, खाने का छीन लिया, उसको जब तक चश्मा छीन लिया, घड़ी छीन ली. I come across those videos where monkeys snatch the belongings, like they snatch some valuables as well. I came across this one news that it was past time, not now. Now the people don't carry so much cash. In a tourist place, a person was carrying a bundle of 50,000 rupees for them to spend. Obviously, it is a old news, and I was it is about 2015-16. So that monkey, he took the pile of cash and just he threw the whole pile of cash here and there, and then they requested everyone to give the money back. They were able to recover some 46,000, which is very high as well. But anyways, monkeys are restless. That's what Mr. Vivekananda said. Now this restless monkey, by the virtue of being monkey, that monkey is restless. Now suppose that this monkey has been made to drink wine. अरे बाप रे, he is high now. ओ क्या होगा भाई उस बंदर का? वैसे ही बंदर में रेस्टलेसनेस, ऊपर से वाइन पी लिए और कुछ समझना है, राइट? नाउ आफ्टर दिस, सपोज दैट मंकी हैज बीन स्टंग बाय अ स्कॉर्पियन. Stung by a scorpion. When you are stung by a scorpion, God forbid, if you are stung by a scorpion, you will be restless as hell. You will sweat, you will have those symptoms, all those venomous bite ka symptoms, and then you will be having anxiety and all that. Now monkey who's already restless, has been drunk in wine, has been stung by scorpion. Now imagine the condition of that monkey. Now after being stung by a scorpion, a demon possesses that monkey. Now you think the condition of that monkey. Very chaotic, very what you can say, haphazard, very chaotic, right? That is your mind. Mr. Vivekananda related that to your mind. Our mind is always chaotic. Amidst this whole world where there is so much of chaos, so much of, the population is also huge, there is so much of chaos, there is so much of, so to say that, stress. There's so much of stress. How do you manage yourself? Your mind is always moving. अभी मैं आप लोगों को बोल दूं या मैं खुद अपने आप को भी बोल दूं कि sit aside and do ध्यान. I cannot do ध्यान. My mind will think of n number of things. My mind will think of n number of things. It will not be calm. It will think of 10 years before I had this bad experience 10 years ago. That will come into my mind, but I'll not be able to calm myself. That is how the mind is. So how the mind is, Mr. Vivekananda relates it to a restless monkey. The monkey restless by himself. Then it has got that what you call wine, drunk on wine. That drunk or that wine is desire. We are drunk in the wine of desires, right? Even Buddha has given that lying theory that world is full of sorrow. Sorrow is because of desires. Desires solve chronically eightfold path. That's another thing. Right now we are studying about this. So desires, the wine is of desires which we are all high upon, right? After that, stung by a scorpion. What is that sting? That sting is pine wala sting nahi. That is very popular these days among some category of people you all know. So stung by a scorpion. What is that sting of scorpion? That is jealousy. Why jealousy? Why do you feel negative of jealousy? Why do you feel jealous at first place? Because अभी मैं आपको बोल दूं, suppose there is a friend of yours or there is a cousin of yours, right? You have a cousin who is a secondary kin to you, मतलब secondary है cousin, direct biological तो नहीं है ना, there is a second, but you have never met that cousin. Just think that he's a cousin or she's a cousin. You have never met that cousin in your life. Only once in a marriage you met them. After that you have not met them. Post that cousin you get to know today or yesterday, he or she was able to clear the exam you were preparing for and you did not clear. Let aside be exam, or you were building something, you were building a business, and you get to know that person is doing better. You will not get jealous because you don't know that person, even though he or she is your cousin, but you do not have that degree of connectiveness with that person. But let's suppose there is another person. You have spent childhood, you have grown up with that person, with that girl or with that boy, you have grown up, and then you get to know कि यार इसका एग्जाम क्लियर हो गया, इस बंदे का या इस बंदी का एग्जाम क्लियर हो गया जिसके लिए मैं तैयारी कर रहा था, मेरा नहीं हुआ. हाउ यू विल फील? 3 इडियट्स में कहता है ना, दोस्त अगर फेल हो जाए तो बुरा लगता है, फर्स्ट आ जाए तो और भी ज्यादा बुरा लगता है. So that same thing you will experience. What will happen is basically your mind, I'm sorry for my voice, I'm a little unwell. Basically what will happen is your mind will encounter and play the flashes of those memories where your competency is above theirs. They will think only of those parameters where your competency excels than theirs. I'll tell you with an example. Suppose 10 साल पहले उसके साथ आप बड़े हुए हैं. Suppose 10 साल पहले that person was not able to take a screenshot from his or her phone and you helped them to take a screenshot, and then you would be thinking कि यार इसको तो screenshot लेना भी नहीं आता, ये क्या है. But today when they clear the exam, your mind will play again that flashback. That person though did not even know how to take a screenshot. That is a very triggering memory that you will have, and it will 100% for sure आएगा ही आएगा. जो गलत चीजें रहती हैं, our conscience only thinks of the negatives. It will not think of the positive. हो सकता है कि एग्जाम अगर निकला तो मेरिट पे निकला ना, इन द मेरिट they performed better than you, but you will not think of that parameter. You will think of those parameters in which you are better, and then think यार ये ऐसे क्यों, right? That is jealousy, and it is natural. That's what Swami Vivekananda said. We are all stung by the scorpion of jealousy. Now the demon, what is the demon? The demon is pride, ego, narcissism. मैं God complex भी बोलते हैं. Narcissist personalities. It's very entertaining to talk with narcissistic people. They are like हमसे ऊपर कोई नहीं, कभी गलती नहीं मानते भाई. They do not accept their mistake any point of life. They do not accept their mistake in any point of life. They're like, we are right, and even if they're wrong, they will tweak the truth, or they will tweak the event in such a way that you cannot fight with them. Even if you argue with them, it's of no use. Narcissistic people. Pride. But we all have pride in some or the other degree. We are all egoistic in some or the other degree. Now, this is what is our mind. You see, that restless monkeys are actually our mind. Ki stung by, drunk in the desire of wine of desire, drunk in the wine of desires, stung by the scorpion of jealousy, possessed by the demon of pride. That is our mind. And only way to conquer the mind is to know the mind. Let yourself be aware of the mind. Then only you can control it. Spider-Man 2, purani wali. Dr. Octopus made that, that small chip which broke later, then the tentacles would control him. He said that these tentacles, this chip makes him control the tentacles and not the tentacles to control him. So relate that to this example. देखो मैंने कैसे relate कर दिया. So relate that to this example. Restless monkey, your mind is restless. तो जैसे वो चिप था ना जो टूट गया था, वो चिप हमको कंट्रोल करने के लिए रखना पड़ेगा. That is controlling your mind. Your mind will only control your mind when you are a restless monkey. You cannot take good decisions. You cannot make emotionally intelligent decisions. That is why emotional intelligence is necessary. That is what emotional intelligence means. Emotionally intelligent means you are able to take decisions with the application of rational mind along with applying emotions. So रेस्टलेस मंकी को ट्रम्प करने का क्या तरीका है? हाउ टू ट्रम्प ओवर दैट रेस्टलेस मंकी, ओवर दैट माइंड फुल ऑफ डिजायर्स, pride and jealousy? You need to conquer it. How? To by managing your emotions. Managing, not suppressing or anything. Management is the key here. Okay, so let's understand this by another example. There was this question in UPSC ethics, destitute lady का case study. So a destitute lady comes to you, you're an officer, you need to provide a scheme, or let's just consider, I don't remember exactly, let's just say that is a hypothetical example, that a person comes to you and you are an officer, you need to provide, you are an officer implementing a welfare scheme. Now you know that that person who has come to you is eligible. That person, that lady who has come to you, she is eligible for the this scheme, है ना? अच्छा चलो, तो इससे नहीं और अच्छा एग्जांपल ले लेते हैं. पंचायत में वो कैरेक्टर कौन था? आई डोंट रिमेंबर द कैरेक्टर. वो उसकी अम्मा को घर से निकाल के झोपड़े में रखते हैं घर के लिए, आवास योजना में वो करने के लिए, तो इंस्पेक्शन के लिए आते हैं वहाँ पे, राइट? अब वो जो हुआ था एग्जैक्टली वो एग्जांपल मत लो, बट यू कैन नाउ रिलेट, राइट? सो ऐसे ही कोई घर के लिए आया तो दे डू नॉट हैव डॉक्यूमेंट्स. अभी वो पंचायत को भूल जाओ, ठीक है, मैंने बस रेफरेंस के लिए बताया था सो दैट यू गाइज अंडरस्टैंड. यू मस्ट हैव सीन पंचायत. सो उसमें कोई आई आपके पास महिला, दैट लेडी डज नॉट हैव द डॉक्यूमेंट्स. नाउ व्हाट यू विल डू? If you solely use your intelligence, then okay, she does not have the documents, no implementation of this scheme to her. But if you have emotions, what you will do? Not solely emotions, let's consider for a matter of time. Solely emotions, you will say, अरे इसको घर दे दो. Then कल को inquiry होगी, you will be the one who is trapped, right? So what you need to do is apply intelligence and emotions both. How do you do it? Apply emotions to make sure that that lady arranges those documents that are required. You go beyond your duty a little. You perform supererogation. Supererogation is going beyond your duty. Go beyond your duty and then arrange those documents. Help the lady to arrange those documents and then use your intelligence. That is the reason that these are the documents and now she is eligible. This is what emotional intelligence is. Another example of emotional intelligence I'll say, but before that let's understand it by a graph. Let's say this is intelligence, let's say this is emotions, and emotions इधर नेगेटिव वाले इमोशंस और इधर पॉजिटिव वाले इमोशंस. पॉजिटिव इमोशंस लाइक बहुत अच्छा इमोशन है लव. लव इज द वेरी बेस्ट ऑफ बेस्ट इमोशंस, है ना? इवन कबीर ने एक दोहे में कहा है, कबीर जी ने, पोथी पढ़ी पढ़ी जगमुआ, पंडित भया न कोय, ढाई आखर प्रेम के पढ़े सो पंडित होए. ढाई आखर प्रेम के. दिस लव इज नॉट विथ रिस्पेक्ट टू अ स्पेसिफिक रिलेशनशिप of your parents, of your partner, of your sister, of your friends. No, this love is with respect to humanity. ये ह्यूमननेस ही तो है जो हमको अलग कर रही है, वरना अब तो AI आ चुका है. Artificial intelligence has come to the mainstream now. We are moving with the AI revolution. We are witnessing it, right? So these emotions, if you have, and negative emotions like greed, anger, lust, all these are negative emotions, right? So if you are intelligent and you have negative emotions, you'll be here. If you are intelligent, you have positive emotions. Let's put it here. ऐसा कर लेते हैं, चलो थोड़ा सा पॉइंट ना रख के, है ना? हाँ. So suppose you don't have intelligence and you don't have emotions. You have negative emotions and you don't have intelligence. No problem. भाई आप किसी का बुरा करना चाहते हो, बोलते हो कि मैं इसको गिरा दूंगा, आपके पास ताकत ही नहीं है उसको उठाने की, तो फिर क्या कर लोगे? तो दिस इज नॉट दैट बिग अ डील. बट इफ यू हैव लो इंटेलिजेंस एंड यू हैव, अरे यहाँ हो गया क्या? If you have low intelligence but high on emotions, positive value, that will also not work. If you have low intelligence and you are taking decisions solely on the basis of your emotions, you will end up in great trouble. You will be in a puddle of quicksand that will sink you down, that will engulf you. You need reason, you need scientific temper, you need logical reasoning and all that, right? Now if you have intelligence plus your positive emotions, very good, सब बेस्ट. दिस इज द बेस्ट थिंग. यू नीड टू, यहाँ पे भी है तो यू नीड टू अचीव दिस. बट लेट्स से यहाँ तो ये इमोशनली इंटेलिजेंट है और क्लासिकली भी इंटेलिजेंट है, IQ EQ दोनों अच्छा है, बट व्हाट इफ दैट पर्सन हैज नेगेटिव इमोशंस और लैक ऑफ इमोशंस, यहाँ पे भी है, इफ दैट पर्सन इज हियर दैट इज स्टिल गुड, नो इमोशंस, नॉट इम्प्लाइंग इमोशंस, अगर यहाँ इस ब्रैकेट में है तो भी ठीक है. बट व्हाट इफ दैट पर्सन इज हैविंग नेगेटिव इमोशंस लाइक ग्रीड, लाइक लस्ट, दैट इज वेरी डेंजरस. A classic example of this would be Ravan. Ravan had, it is a good line that I heard somewhere, that Lord Ravan had ego of knowledge. He was very knowledgeable, he was very intelligent, but negative emotions. He had ego of knowledge, and Lord Ram had knowledge of ego. Right? So Lord Ram had knowledge of ego while Ravan had ego of his knowledge. Very good line. Now, so if you are here, this is very dangerous. This is very dangerous. In a question also in UPSC, it was asked by integrity without knowledge is still understood, but that is not useful, but still it is okay. But knowledge without integrity, that is a deadly combination, guys. We have to stay away from those kind of people. Now, coming ahead, we are done with restless monkey. So this is the restless monkey, and I have explained you how emotional intelligence is and it works. And emotional intelligence is basically being, management. It's basically management. It's basically you are able to understand, you're able to have your emotions under control. Understanding, it's the ability to understand, identify, recognize, reconcile, be resilient about it, right? Being resilient matlab having perseverance in the terms of adversities. Now उसके बाद why तो यार matlab it helps you in professional life, it will help you excel, you will have the ability to influence people, social skills better करेगा, ability to influence better करेगा, it will help you excel in your life. This is one good thing that I, जो थोड़े different लगे वो मैंने लिख दिए हैं, जैसे कि influence, it will help you influence people, emotionally connect. Public figures emotionally connect with people very well, that's why they are able to influence them. Hire, IQ will get you hired, but EQ will get you excel or promoted in that job. If you don't have emotional quotient, you will not be able to do good. Solely having reason is not enough. You need to use your emotions along with reason. It will build positive attitude, and one thing that it will help you grab the opportunity. कहते हैं ना लोहा गर्म हो तभी हथौड़ा मारो, वो क्यों कहते हैं? It is about grabbing the opportunities. Now many people say that there is luck involved in life. To be successful you need to be lucky. Some say that luck is something that is earned by hard work or whatever. I believe that luck does play a role personally, but in the book The Prince by Machiavelli, I don't know if it is in the book, most probably it is, but Machiavelli has given that luck and opportunity are two different things. What people term as luck is not luck, it is the opportunity that one grabbed. भाई luck वो है जो हम लोगों ने opportunity grab की, आप लोगों ने नहीं किया. That is what is luck. Yeah, that is what you term as luck. आप जिसको luck कह देते हैं वो opportunity थी जो आपने नहीं दूसरे ने grab कर ली. That is what Machiavelli says. And it will build positive attitude, have a positive influence. It is basically management of your emotions. It will help you excel in your professional life, in your personal life. It will keep your relationships balanced, all that you can write. You can know that. Now, examples. Examples में very good example I told you about KL Rahul, Mr. Rahul. After that, one very good contemporary example that I can think of right now is Mr. Mahendra Singh Dhoni. I am not a big cricket fan, but I have not even, I can count it in one hand of mine how many times I've seen him angry. I can only think of twice or maybe thrice. If I think, maybe 4. I don't think I can go beyond that of thinking Mr. Dhoni as an angry person. I don't think I've seen him angry at all. I mean, barring a few incidents. So that person, Mr. Dhoni, he manages his emotions very well. Despite of having and winning almost every title, that person still did not have a very perfect farewell. He lost his, I guess, all test, T20 and ODI international. शायद तीनों आखिरी वाला हार गए थे. तो it is not that you get your perfect farewell in everything, but still you are managing your emotions. That person manages his emotions very well. Now, मैनेजमेंट के बाद एक और एग्जाम्पल मैं आपको देता हूँ. एग्जाम्पल से थोड़ा मज़ा भी आता है पढ़ने में और अच्छा भी लगता है बताने में. सो अनदर एग्जाम्पल इज दैट ऑफ डॉक्टर अम्बेडकर. Dr. Ambedkar has mentioned in his autobiography Waiting for Visa that he was not allowed to enter or to stay. He was searching for accommodation. He was not allowed accommodation at his community or any other communities. Any other religious community was not allowed to get accommodation because of his caste-based identity. He has expressed that very beautifully in his book. It's a very small book, you can read it, you can find the PDF online. So he has mentioned that he could not find accommodation, but even despite of that, he was calm, he was composed, his temperaments was normal. That is what is meant by emotional intelligence. You're managing your emotions very well. And another example, which is, I don't know, I heard this story of Gandhiji. I don't know if it is true. Even if it is not true, the crux is true. That is, I'll tell you. So Gandhiji went to meet this one couple. So the husband came first, and husband says that मेरा आपसे मुलाकात हो गई है. मतलब जब उस the moment he is done with meeting Mr. Gandhi, he says that मेरी आपसे मुलाकात हो गई है. मैं अब अंदर जाऊंगा, फिर मेरी बीवी आएगी, मेरी पत्नी आएंगी, वो आपसे मिलना चाहती हैं. Then Mr. Gandhi says that why didn't you both come together? आप साथ में आ जाते, मैं साथ में ही मिल लेता. Then the person says, हमारे पास सिर्फ एक कपड़ा है. We only have one cloth. If I will go inside, she will put on the same cloth and then she will come to meet you. We only have one cloth. That was the moment that Gandhiji decided कि I will only wear clothes that cover half of my body. मैं उतने ही कपड़े पहनूंगा जितना यहाँ पे देश के लोग पहन रहे हैं. I don't know if this story is true or not, but the latter is true, that he wore only half of his covered only half of his body. Right? He even said to the royal of British that ये कैसा कपड़ा पहन के आ गए थे. When he was asked, then he said that your king was wearing enough for both of us. It was a pun that he said कि हमारा लूट के ही तो पहन रहे हैं. Anyways, that Mr. Gandhi then wearing those clothes, only half of his body, क्या ज़रूरत है उनको? He has the resources. He was decent, doing decent. He had those resources. He was rich. But still, despite of that, wearing half clothes or covering only half of his body showcases emotional intelligence. This is a prime example of emotional intelligence. Bhai, this is a very high degree of emotional intelligence showcased by Mr. Gandhi. And public figures also showcase emotional intelligence by connecting with people, connecting with people's emotions. That's how they work, right? Now, done with examples and why you know, and how to develop यही है. ये जो मॉडल है ना, कंपोनेंट्स, इसी को डेवलप करो तो हो जाएगा. नाउ आई विल स्टडी अबाउट गोलमैन्स मॉडल. सो गोलमैन मॉडल में मतलब देर आर मेनी मॉडल. 6 फेज वाला भी है, TSEIR वाला भी एक है, TSEIET वाला समथिंग, आई डोंट रिमेंबर. बट दिस गोलमैन्स मॉडल इज मोस्ट वाइडली एक्सेप्टेड एंड अ स्टैंडर्ड मॉडल ऑफ इमोशनल इंटेलिजेंस. सो व्हाट इट सेज, इट लिस्ट्स डाउन 5 components. One is self-regulation, self-awareness, motivation, empathy, and social skills. Self-regulation, self-awareness, and motivation are intra. Intra matlab comes from within, from oneself. And social skills and empathy are interpersonal. That is, they come from different. They are developed between people. Interpersons, right? So, what is self-regulation? Self-regulation is nothing but regulating yourself. That is, managing one's own emotions. That is regulation. You are able to regulate it, like KL Rahul did. Like Mr. KL Rahul regulated his emotions. He did not let the emotions overpower him, and then later he did really good. Self-awareness. Awareness means being aware about yourself. A few days ago I put this status in on my WhatsApp or Instagram में, that unexamined life is not worth living. It is also a quote by Socrates. Unexamined life is not worth living. It is not worth, bhai. You are unaware of your vices. And why it is not worth living? Because until and unless you are aware about yourself, you cannot take up good decisions. You cannot improve, right? In any aspect, not just emotions. If you are not aware of yourself, if you are not aware with yourself, how on earth you will be able to improve yourself? It is introspection basically. In Upanishads, there is a concept of Atmanam Viddhi. That is, talk thyself. खुद से बात करना, introspection करना, being self-aware. Then there is motivation. Motivation it is considered outside usually, कि हमको किसी ने भाषण दे दिया, अभी मैं जैसे 5 मिनट बोल दूँ कि ऐसे करोगे, मेहनत करोगे, ये करोगे, that is not going to help you. गाना सुन लेंगे 5 मिनट, आरंभ है प्रचंड सुन लेंगे, मोटिवेशन आ जाएगा, फिर उसके बाद वो लूज हो जाएगा। जैसे किसी एग्जाम की तैयारी कर रहे हो आप, यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर सिविल सर्विसेज, यू विल सी दोज रील्स ऑफ ऑफिसर्स वॉकिंग with getting salutes and all, you will get motivated for a while but then it goes away, right? और यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर सीए में वो दिखा देंगे, वो कुछ कुछ आते रहते हैं सोशल मीडिया में, पावर ऑफ अ साइन ऑफ अ सीए, ऐसा वैसा। तो एवरीथिंग इज देयर, बट what you need to know is motivation comes from within. Until and unless it's intrinsic, you cannot achieve anything. Until and unless it's intrinsic. मोटिवेशन अंदर से आनी चाहिए भाई, बाहर से नहीं आनी चाहिए। बाहर से तो आपको थोड़ी देर के लिए वो मिल जाएगा, क्या कहते हैं उसको, पुश मिल जाएगा, बट इंट्रिंसिक जो मोटिवेशन है वो तो आपको कंसिस्टेंसी भी होनी चाहिए। इंट्रिंसिक मोटिवेशन में कंसिस्टेंट होना चाहिए। जैसे कि फॉर इंस्टेंस इंडिया लॉस्ट द 2023 वर्ल्ड कप बट दे वॉन द चैंपियंस ट्रॉफी, दे वर मोटिवेटेड कि अब हमको कुछ करना है, राइट? सो दे डिड वेरी गुड। एंड लास्ट इज sorry, these three are intrapersonal. Now interpersonals, empathy. What is empathy? Empathy समझने से पहले sympathy भी समझ लो। I put it this way, I don't know if this is universally correct or not, but I think जितने मैंने definitions देखे हैं और जितना मैंने research किया, I could come across this figure. Sympathy, empathy and compassion, the degree of or the gravity of feeling increases in this order. Sympathy means basically acknowledging others. इससे पहले अगर हो आप तो आप एक्नॉलेज भी नहीं कर रहे हो भाई। कोई चोट लग गया किसी को, आप जैसे कुत्ते को पत्थर मार दिए, बीटिंग अ डॉग, स्लैप अ डॉग और अ काऊ, देन यू आर लाफिंग, अरे ये हो गया, देन यू आर अ सैडिस्ट पर्सन, दैट इज अ नेगेटिव थिंग। सिंपैथी इज acknowledging others feelings, that is sympathy. Now what is empathy? Empathy goes one step beyond sympathy. It recognizes, it acknowledges, recognizes as well as that person feels for self. वो कहते हैं ना कि दूसरों के जूते पे, put yourself in the other shoes, don't say anything until you are in their shoes. So empathy is basically putting yourself in their shoes and understanding and feeling it for yourself. And what is compassion? Compassion is basically doing some, acknowledging plus feeling plus doing something to better it. वो केस स्टडी डेस्टिट्यूट लेडी वाला जहाँ पे इमोशंस आपने यूज किया था ना, वहाँ पे ये भी तो यूज, ये कंपैशन भी तो था, तभी तो आपने प्रोवाइड किया ना। if there was if there was no compassion, how would have you provided the destitute lady to work upon her documents, right? So empathy, good example of empathy is Sonu Sood, नहीं वो तो compassion हो जाएगा, he provided for the transport during COVID time. Sonu Sood, it is very commendable. But empathy would be as simple as you are a student in a school or a college, someone scolds your friend or your batchmate and you are able to understand someone as in parents scold your वो, और आपको भी डांटते ही है तो आपको भी पता है, so you sort of relate to them or acknowledge their feelings as well as understand their feelings. That is empathy, right? Now social skills are not just communication, not just speaking, it goes beyond that, right? It goes beyond speaking. It is not just speaking, it is influencing, it is speaking, it is influencing, it is listening as well, it is able to make a difference, it is your personality as a whole, it is your way to present, your grooming, all this comes under social skills. You're able to influence. Some people are powerful. What is power? Power is the ability to influence, to direct the other's course of actions, right? So having good social skills is a sign or is a component of emotional intelligence. Very good example, contemporary example we can see is our Prime Minister's Man Ki Baat or Pariksha Pe Charcha with the students, connecting with the students socially, very high on social skills. And not just the Prime Minister, the public figures, all the public figures, they have very good social skills. They have this social skill of influencing people. जैसे कि अभी influencers बहुत हैं, है ना? The influencing content creation as a domain has burst out like anything. It is a whole new domain. People are full-time employed with this content creation thing, right? So हम भी वही कर रहे हैं, कुछ कंटेंट ही तो क्रिएट कर रहा हूँ ना मैं यहाँ पे. I'm not getting remunerated as of now, but who knows tomorrow I get famous, or who knows, I mean this has become expansive, right? So social skills. And then a very good for the last thing I said this, now you know that why you need emotional intelligence, how to develop emotional intelligence, self-regulate yourself, self-aware, motivate, empathize, develop social skills, ये सब है. Marshmallow experiment. What is the marshmallow experiment? It was done by Walter Mischel, and I don't remember the year, what time it was. If I can see, marshmallow experiment. No, I have not written the year. So either ways, so 5-year-old children were given one marshmallow in this experiment. There were 5-year-old children. They were given one marshmallow, and they were told to wait for 15 minutes, and then only after to eat the marshmallow. So there were many children who were said to wait for 15 minutes, who were said to wait for 15 minutes and then they'll get 2 marshmallows, or if they eat it before 15 minutes they'll only get 1 marshmallow. They were given 1 marshmallow, so there were 2 options, that either you eat this marshmallow right now or wait for 15 minutes and then we will provide you 2 marshmallows if you wait for 15 minutes. Some of the students waited, some of the students did not, some of the children waited, some of the children did not. What it was observed, that the ones who waited were more successful in life later on. The same set of children were observed in later life. The ones who were able to wait, the ones who were able to resist, self-regulation, Goleman model यहाँ भी लगा सकते हैं, they were more successful in life. So basically the crux of Marshmallow experiment was delayed gratification. Ones who are able to delay the gratification, they are aware of self, they are able to handle stress better, they are more patient, they are more perseverant. What is perseverant? Perseverance means being consistent even in the face of adversities. आपके घर में कुछ अच्छा नहीं चल रहा है, आपके पर्सनल लाइफ की लगी पड़ी है, your with your father your relation is not good, with your mother relation is not good, with your partner relation is not good, with your friends it's not good, or anything financially अच्छा नहीं है, but still you are working hard, still you are studying or whatever you're building. Not just studies, it could be anything like building a business or getting into content creation or becoming an actor. You may be struggling in Mumbai. There are tons of people that go to Mumbai. आपको लगता है कि UPSC में बहुत competition है, आप मुंबई में जाके देख लो भाई, जो स्टार्स बनना चाहते हैं उसमें कितना ज़्यादा कंपटीशन है ना. सो कंपटीशन तो हर जगह है. So even despite of all these negativities, if you are still working, still going out, still fighting, that makes you a worthy person of achieving whatever you want. That is perseverance. So this marshmallow experiment showcased that perseverance, patience, handling stress, all these are characteristics of emotional intelligence. And a good keyword that we get from here is delayed gratification. डिलेड ग्रेटिफिकेशन मतलब एक डिलेड डिसीजन मेकिंग भी होता है. डिलेड डिसीजन मेकिंग मतलब एग्जामिनिंग द सर्कमस्टांसेस केयरफुली एंड ओनली देन मेकिंग अ डिसीजन. ठीक है. सो डिलेड ग्रेटिफिकेशन मतलब यू आर एबल टू डिले योर ग्रेटिफिकेशन रादर देन इंस्टेंट कॉफी सोल्यूशन. भाई खाना बनाते हो, द वंस हु कुक मस्ट विल रिलेट विथ मी. आई ऑल्सो हैपन टू बी अ डिसेंट कुक आई थिंक, और अ गुड कुक आई विल से. मैं तो अपने आप को अच्छा ही बोलूँगा. सो द वंस हु आर गुड विथ कुकिंग, यू विल डेफिनेटली नो दैट ज़्यादा तेल और ज़्यादा मसाले डाल के तो कोई भी स्वाद ले आएगा, बट इफ़ यू वांट टू बिल्ड एक्चुअल टेस्ट एंड एवरीथिंग यू हैव टू वेट. या फिर चलो उधर नहीं जाते, सिंपल से लेते, तेज़ आंच में अगर पकाओगे तो सिंपल खाना बनेगा. बट इफ़ यू पुट इट ऑन लो फ्लेम, द ब्यूटी व्हेन द ऑयल सेपरेट्स फ्रॉम द ग्रेवी, दैट इज़ व्हेन यू विल रियलाइज दैट यहाँ इसमें जो भी सारे अच्छे केमिकल रिएक्शंस होने थे वो हो गए हैं. एंड दैट डिले, that has made you achieve that gratification of food which was much more tasty. मार्शमेलो एक्सपेरिमेंट में यही तो हुआ ना भाई. ग्रेटिफिकेशन तो तुरंत भी मिल रहा था एक मार्शमेलो खा के, बट अगर आप रुक रहे हो तो ज़्यादा ग्रेटिफिकेशन मिलेगा ना, ज़्यादा मार्शमेलोज मिलेंगे. वैसे यहाँ पे डिलेड ग्रेटिफिकेशन में, जैसे खाने का एग्जाम्पल मैंने लिया, तुरंत बना लोगे जल्दी जल्दी तो अच्छा लगेगा, खाना तो मिलेगा ना, खाना मिल रहा है भाई, यू विल गेट एनर्जी. बट इफ यू कुक इट स्लोली यू विल गेट better food, you will get better experience. That is delaying your gratification rather than having instant coffee solutions. So delayed gratification is one of the component that we have deducted from marshmallow experiment. ठीक है. And why do you need emotional intelligence? ये तो मैंने बता ही दिया. It's basically management. Now emotions and intelligence, are these things two separate? Yes, they are separate, but we need to club them. वी नीड टू क्लब देम टू मेक अ गुड माइंड. जैसे कि ये इंटेलिजेंस है, इसमें अगर मैं रीजन लिख दूं, यहाँ पे लिख दूं रीजन और यहाँ पे लिख दूं इमोशनल, ठीक है. योर रीजन व्हेन कंपाइल्ड विथ इमोशनल माइंड, दैट विल गिव यू अ वाइज माइंड. दिस इज अ वाइज माइंड. If you are solely emotional, that is also not good. If you are solely relying on facts, figures, data, that is also not good. You need to have balance, middle path, as what Buddha said, middle path, right? आप satisfied हैं या नहीं life से, that is not at all, that does not come from any material possessions. If it is coming from material possessions as of now to you, then what if that material is taken away from you? Will you be able to sustain that satisfaction? You will not have contentment in your life. भाई content जो है, content in the sense of satisfaction, content is basically what you feel. It is a state of mind. Happiness is a state of mind. It does not depend on what you think, it does not depend on what you have or what you are. Even a person who earns 25,000 rupees a month, or say 30,000 rupees a month, and has a family of 4 and they are surviving in a village, they are happy. They have their own us time, having dinner together. And let's say there's another family earning cumulatively 30 lakhs or 35 lakhs a month, and none of them talk to each other. सब अपना अलग पड़े हुए हैं. No one is satisfied with their life. The one person says that I need to buy another car, other person says I need a chopper now, another person says a private plane. No one is satisfied in their life. So satisfaction comes from within. It is the state of mind. It does not depend on what you are. It is not at all material. And if you are getting material satisfaction through material, what if that material is drawn away from you? ये भी तो हो सकता है ना भाई. How do you know कि you will have that material everlasting, or you will lose interest in that material eventually? So that is what happiness means. I mean, amid the chaotic and the huge populous world, you as an individual to the world might not matter, but as an individual, your world is you yourself, right? पूरी दुनिया के लिए आप एक दूसरा व्यक्ति हैं, आप एक दूसरे इंसान हैं, पर आपके लिए तो आप ही पूरी दुनिया है ना, right? At this very moment, if we consider your life who are observing me, your life is you as well as the mobile phone that you have right now. That is, and what you are watching. And for me right now, what is it? It is nothing. It's just me and watching into the camera in the mobile. ठीक है? तो you need to be manage. क्या कहना चाहिए उसको? You need to be नहीं. I'm not getting a proper word. You need to be cautious and neutral. That would be a good thing to say. You need to be neutral with your expectations, with your aspirations. You need to have aspirations, you need to have expectations, but that should not go beyond one point that you are never satisfied. ठीक है? Satisfaction is what you think. It is a state of mind. अभी आप यहाँ से निकल जाओगे घर से अपने ऑफिस जाने को या कॉलेज जाने को, ऐसा एक दिन नहीं जाता होगा जब आप किसी सामने वाले को बुरा भला ना बोलो कि ये कैसा गाड़ी चला रहा है. You must be going through this. आप जा रहे हो, लेफ्ट मुड़ना है, लेफ्ट टर्न ब्लॉक कर दिया है. इवन वेल द लेफ्ट टर्न इज फ्री, इवन व्हेन देयर इज एरो, इवन व्हेन देयर इज साइन दैट लेफ्ट टर्न इज फ्री, लेफ्ट टर्न ब्लॉक्ड है भाई बाइक वालों से, इवन कार वालों से. तो आप क्या कर लोगे? जाके सबको समझाते रहोगे? दैट विल नॉट हेल्प. कीप योरसेल्फ पीसफुल. यू कांट डू एनीथिंग अबाउट इट. एवरीवन इज गोइंग थ्रू दैट. जस्ट लीव, जस्ट मैनेजमेंट ऑफ इमोशंस. इट डज नॉट मीन कि जिसको गुस्सा नहीं आ रहा है वो अपने इमोशंस को दबा रहा है. इमोशंस को दबाओगे तो और ज़्यादा नेगेटिव इफेक्ट आएगा भाई बॉडी पे. यू नीड नॉट सप्रेस इमोशंस, यू नीड टू मैनेज इमोशंस. यू नीड टू बी इंटेलिजेंट अबाउट योर इमोशंस. यू नीड टू understand and implement such things that you are able to efficiently manage your emotions and leverage those emotions into your benefit. Yes, even anger as an emotion is sometimes necessary. It is to be used at the right time, at the right place, with the right person. ऐसे ही नहीं गुस्सा करना है. सब चीज़ों का everything has to go well, everything has to be right, smooth. वो यहाँ से होगा और कहीं से नहीं होगा. You cannot achieve it. You have to develop it yourself. Like Vivekanand ji said, it is a restless monkey, and this is the core yogic philosophy. अभी मैं योगा करने बोल दूंगा, कोई नहीं कर पाएगा, मैं खुद नहीं कर पाऊंगा. But we need to develop that. We need to be patient. We need to be perseverant. We need to be consistent. We need to be disciplined. All these values, all these things are what we need to better our emotions, to manage our emotions more efficiently. Right? So this was it about emotional intelligence. I'll see you next time. Thank you.